Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Making Waves at Sea Level. Wow, it has been a while since I've done one of these episodes, and I'm getting ready to relaunch Making Waves at Sea Level on a regular basis. I've been doing this podcast since 2014, but a couple years ago, because of my role with the Austin Technology Council, I've been very focused on that podcast called the Austin Tech Connect podcast. And weekly, I do interviews on that platform to be able to showcase what makes Austin such a great place. But I haven't forgotten you, the audience for this show. And today, I am really engulfed in this whole idea of how there is a new role for the CEO. I believe that CEOs need to be leading humanity through all the change that is coming. If you're already a leader in a company, it's your responsibility to help all those people navigate what's coming down the pipe. Because everything that I've read says in the next 5, 6, 7 years, our society is going to go through more changes than we've ever been through. AI and other technology breakthroughs are happening at breakneck speed. Things are happening so fast, we can't keep up. And for those of us who work in and around technology, and those of you who are leading corporations, you already know that changes are coming. You see it. It's impacting your bottom line. You're making decisions around what AI tools exist today and what AI tools are going to exist tomorrow. But when you really start peeling back that onion and looking at all the different layers of society, and I even mean people who work for your companies, a lot of people are not prepared for the changes that are coming. And we need to make sure that we have real leadership in place who is going to help people navigate what's going on. And this is why I turn to the actual leaders in our business society, because you're already a leader. You've already been through hard times. You've already been aggressive. You've already been kind of have that stick-to-itiveness to get things done. You didn't get to the C-suite in your company because you were a bump on a log. You got there because you took action and you made things happen. However, you're not everybody. And you have to realize that you have some special skills that might be really beneficial to other people in your company and in your community, and heck, in society at large, as we go through these changes. So I think the CEO needs to realize that they're more than just the CEO. I mean, yeah, changes are happening, and you could just cash out and go live in Montana on a ranch. A lot of people do that. But I believe that real leaders show up. And that's why every community out there needs you. They need you to show up and shepherd people through the changes that are coming. So I think there are really 4 things that a CEO needs to do to guide people through this crazy time that's about to come down the path. And number 1, you need to model calm in the face of uncertainty. Like I said, I think we're going to go through some changes that most people aren't even predicting. I think things are happening in the world of business that, yeah, they're going to be awesome, but I also think they're going to displace a lot of people and people are going to get nervous. And the problem is, if you're not calm, they're going to freak out. So you need to be calm during this uncertainty, and you need to help educate people of how do you deal with tough times? How do you deal with change? Because that's your role. You're already doing that. You're already guiding your company through this. So I think that if you're a leader in a company, you have to be ready to put on that hat that says, I'm a leader in my community as well, because everyone's going to need you if we go through these massive changes. The second thing is you need to stay visible and engaged. I said it before, real leaders show up. But what I'm seeing in a lot of communities is people are making it. They're successful. They've cashed out, and maybe they still are working, but they don't have time to belong to organizations. They don't have time to show up and mentor other people. Well, now is the time that if you're special, you need to share that. You need to show up. Real leaders can't lead by sitting with other rich people around their pool drinking scotch. Real leaders roll up their sleeves and make things happen. And this is where I think you have to be visible in your community. I believe that if you've been fortunate, and if you're in the C-suite in a company, you're fortunate. If you've been fortunate, you have to find a way to give back. And so that means, what organizations are you supporting? What boards are you serving on? And how are you mentoring the people in your community to make sure that they're ready to tackle the changes that are coming? And I think it falls to you, because to those who much has been given, much is expected. And I expect the leaders in our communities to stand up and help as we go through these changes. The next thing is you need to talk about the human impact. Yeah, AI is going to save a lot of money. You may not have to hire as many people, but we need to be we need to be having dialogues in our community about how these changes are going to impact people. And we can't just look around our gated neighborhoods and say, well, how will it impact my gated neighborhood neighbors? No, we have to be looking across the communities that we live in. We cannot allow this divide between haves and have-nots to get larger. We have to be thinking about how do we help uplift everybody as all these changes are happening. And then finally, the last tip is you need to find purpose-minded groups in your community that you can partner with. Now, I run an organization in Austin, Texas called the Austin Technology Council. I am hungry to find that next generation of civic-minded leaders who want to roll up their sleeves and help not just their company, not even just our tech community, but who want to help make sure that Austin is poised for great things coming forward. But the problem is there's not a lot of people tapping those 35 and 40-year-old leaders on the shoulder saying, it's time for you to get involved. That's the way it used to be. When I was in my 30s, I got pulled aside by a community leader who said, you're doing some cool stuff in the community, and therefore you need to partner with organizations, serve on their board, and help the next generation. And I was just silly enough to believe him. And so I've been involved in my community now for almost 30 years, at least 20 years, because that was the example that was set for me. This is why I'm calling on you. If you're in the C-suite, if you're making waves in your company, you need to take that out and make waves in your community, and then make waves in our country, and then make waves in the world. Because here's the thing, with everything that's happening in the world of AI, pretty soon computers are going to be able to generate most of the stuff that's going on. However, the trust of people is going to be harder to earn because people aren't going to trust what they hear when they know that half of it could be a deep fake, half of it could be computer generated. So it's that human to human interaction where we build trust. And that's where leadership is important. You're a leader. You're important. And so I think that it's really important that the people who are in that leadership class step up and start leading. Because if we don't, what's going to happen is some charlatans are going to spin a bunch of bullshit and people are going to believe it. And then people are going to fall in line behind the wrong person. And that's not going to be good for our society at all. We need real leaders to show up in our communities, and we need real leaders who will talk about the hard things and they'll go ahead and lead. So this is really important to me. I want to hear from you. If you're a leader already and you're already leading in your community, send me a note, tom@thomsinger.com. Tell me what you're doing. Maybe we'll interview you right here on this podcast. Or if you're a leader who thinks, well, I'm too busy, or I don't have the time, or I don't have community leadership skills, send me a note and share that with me, because maybe I have some ideas that can help spark you to find something in your community where you could do something that just takes a little bit of time, but that can really impact the people who you help. Because we need to start thinking about what's really going to happen with these changes that are coming. I don't have the answers, but I know they're coming. And I think we need to be having the discussions. And I think the discussions need to be coming from people who already have leadership skills. We don't have time to wait for the next generation. We need people to stand up right now. All right, I'm back at Making Waves at Sea Level. We're going to try every week to have a new interview, and I'm going to do a few of these solo episodes just to get things going, but I am actively looking for people who work in the C-suite of a company of any size who really care about leadership, who really care about their community, who care about giving back, who want to come on and be interviewed and share their passion about what's going to happen in the future and how they plan to help drive it. So if you know somebody who fits that description, reach out to me. Again, it's just tom@thomsinger.com, and let me know, because I want to have some really cool guests, because I'm looking for those people who are making waves at sea level. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Let all your friends know that we're back at Making Waves at Sea Level, hopefully every single week. We'll see you soon.